Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing tonight? I'd like to welcome to the stage the lyrically acclaimed. I like this young man because when he came out with the phrase, he went from ashy to classy. I like that. So everybody in the house, give a warm round of applause for the notorious B.I.G. The notorious B.I.G.
We're back here.
Give it up for him.
Weaver High School basketball team. We're joined by another member of the Weaver team, Chaylin
Martin.
And we're back here with the head coach, Reggie Hatchett. These guys are out of Hartford, Connecticut. We talked a little earlier with Keandre about your team and some of the success, went on and off the court. All right, so Chaylin, being that you're what year are you in? I'm sorry.
Sophomore.
You're a sophomore. You're coming off of a state championship appearance. What are some of the expectations that you guys have, or that you have for the team and yourself going forward for 2014-15 season?
Our expectation is to, of course, get good grades and get back to the championship.
Mm-hmm. All right, so being that you guys, like I said, you did go to the state champion and stuff like that, what are some of the teams that might have gave you trouble that you think will still be there around this year?
I don't think there's no team that can really stop us because a lot of teams last year had seniors, and they're all going now.
So who did you guys lose to in the state championship? I don't even.
We lost to East Catholic. They were a team heavy with seniors. We had beaten them twice. They're in our conference. We had beaten them twice over the course of the year in two, highly competitive games. Mm-hmm. The state championship, they're very well prepared, and their seniors played extremely well. Some of the best that they had ever played in that game. And as a team, it was our poorest game of the season. We shot terrible from the free throw line, shot terrible from the field. I think our youth definitely showed in the state championship game, but it was a learning experience. And we had won 9 games in a row, like heading into the state championship. So it was definitely an accomplishment to make it there, but we're not satisfied with just making it there. We definitely want to get back and right what we did wrong last year. And Chaylin individually, once again, is another young man who's on the honor roll and extremely humble, but he was also the only freshman in the state last year to make All-State, to get All-State honors. So, we definitely had some accolades for some of our student athletes at Weaver that, a lot of people may have been unaware of in this part of the state.
So for you, to be able to be like that with honors and then get All-State as a freshman, how did that make you feel? And what were some of the, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel extremely good for myself because, like he said, I was the only freshman to make All-State. Mm-hmm. And that's just something good to feel about. Something good to feel about.
Well, most high school kids, that's like their pinnacle of their career. They either win the high school state championship or they become All-State. So what next goal other than winning the high school state championship is there for you going forward, being that you already made first team All-State or you made All-State?
To go to college.
Have you thought about that process yet, like regional-wise, or where you trying to go? Are you just chasing the big Duke, North Carolinas, and schools like that?
I haven't really thought about it.
You got to talk.
I have, but
you haven't really thought about because you're still a baby anyway, still a sophomore. What are some of the strengths in your game that that people like? Yo, he does this really well.
Play defense, get offensive rebounds, fast breaking.
So if they wanted to lock you down, what do you think somebody could do to kind of contain your game, to slow you down?
This year I have worked on a lot of offensive stuff like short pull-ups, left hand layups, working on my handle. So I think it'll be harder to stop me now.
Last year our team was so young. They were extremely talented, but their bodies were young. It's just so much talent will take you so far, but when you have a senior, a 15-year-old freshman, competing against a senior, 18, 19 years old, at some point the physicality just kicks in. And I think that, coming into this season, we've been doing a lot of conditioning and physical training to the point where, we're trying to eliminate that factor. There's still going to be a discrepancy between a sophomore and a senior type of thing, but, I think all of the players have dedicated themselves to building their bodies up, to adding pounds, healthy pounds, not unhealthy pounds. Building up upper body strength, and just being mentally ready and understanding like the rigors of like the in and out of a high school season. Like there was a lot of cancellations last year that messed up a lot of scheduling. So there were times when we had to play 4 games in 5 days near the end of the season. For a freshman or sophomore basketball player, that can be a lot. And I think now heading into this season, because they've experienced that, it'll be a little bit easier for them to navigate through those kind of things. Freshmen are going to do stuff like stay up too late, or not really focus on the game, or eat a bunch of foods that they shouldn't be eating. And Chinese I think food. Now that they realize it's not a game, we really have to get some rest, or take a nap, or go to bed early the night before a game, or eat fruit before the game, or that kind of stuff. Like they realize by getting so close. The state championship would have been great, and I've said this several times over the course of the summer, but I don't think we were ready to win it mentally. That actually showed. Like there were some things that we just could not do right that day. I mean, there were some things that we have been doing perfectly all season that just went terribly wrong. And I just think that sometimes timing is just, you may ask, your higher power for a gift or for a blessing that you're just not ready to receive. And I think now, the kids definitely take basketball a lot more seriously than they did, last year. So, I think we're more primed to be a better team. And I'm not saying that, we're guaranteed to win a state championship, because you have to go out and win the games, and you never know who's going to add players and what players got better, and injuries and all the other type of stuff. But I do believe that mentally we're stronger. We've lost some players from last year that were supposed to be returning. So we've had some turmoil within our team or within our basketball program. But all of these different things has made us stronger as a family. And I wouldn't want to be coaching any other group of kids other than the ones that I have right now.
How long have you been under Reggie's tutelage, coaching wise? With him? 3rd grade, 5th grade, 7th grade?
Yeah, somewhere around that.
Oh, something like that. So, since you've been around Reggie, Coach Reggie, from then to now, how has he grown as a coach, in your opinion?
I think he just stayed the same, because he always tried to teach us to be young adults from a young age.
Well, I think the biggest difference in myself is the fact that now, since he's, since I first started coaching Jalen, he was 6 or 7 years old. But now I have my own children. And, having my own sons has made me a better man, and understanding, like how to be a better mentor and father, because you have to be patient, and like the child development has become more prevalent to me now. And all of the guys that play for me, they're always around my sons. My sons idolize them. They're always around them. And I think that honestly, becoming a father has made me more patient and more understanding with the young men that I coach.
And I feel the same with that because of my daughter now. I started our organization because of my birth of my daughter, to try to create an environment, positive environment that I could control, and it's the same thing. The girls in our organization, they're like big sisters to my daughter, and they keep her motivated to want to get better and do better in the school and everything, because now they got somebody that they can see the big picture, So I think it's good, I talked to Reggie about it and some other guys, just having positive black men in, some of our lives and stuff. But we're gonna leave you on this last question. If you had to change one thing, right, in Hartford, what would it be?
Violence.
What do you think you could do to deter some of that violence?
I don't think I could do anything, because they won't just listen to me. They don't even listen to their mothers. So what makes you think they're gonna listen to me?
Well, I think once again, with a lot of the young men that we deal with, they don't realize that they're somewhat of role models to even their peers. All of the young men that that play basketball at our school, guys follow them, and the simple fact that they're honor roll kids, that they're, you know, all state level basketball players. Like, they don't get involved in any of the foolishness, and it's because even though they're too young to recognize it, those guys who are involved in that type of behavior respect the fact that they're basketball players and don't try to pull them in and don't try to involve them in that. And there's been several guys who I had to lose, you know, them as basketball players because they were too much intertwined in the streets. And that's one thing that I will not tolerate is, you know, people, because I've done so much to keep, you know, the kids that I mentor, not just coach, but the kids that I mentor, the kids that look up to me. I've done so much to keep them away from that environment. I can't have someone infiltrate that and, you know, try to basically, it's almost like you drop one drop of oil into a gallon of water. All of the water is contaminated now. So you cannot have those kids with that type of mentality around kids that are really trying to focus on going to school, because those kids will start to assimilate with the bad behavior. So, you know, these young men don't realize how much they are mentors or how much they look up to their peers because they're so young. But, you know, if they had a chance to step back and really pay attention to it, you know, like, you know, there are other guys who are acting that way. When they're around them, they don't bring it around them because they know that those dudes are not that, you know, don't live that lifestyle. So they are making small changes or small differences in the general climate of Hartford, even if they don't.
Yeah. This is my story. Yeah, I'm from that Chi-Town dirt. I went from being broke to sleeping in Versace shirts. Yeah. This is my story. Money, cars, bad home. This is my story. And I'm